what is the shortage of Japanese industry for especially kind of middle class? Currently, Japanese is
But there's a clear.
not much kind of issue happening yet, and many companies keep those employees within company, but we're going to change within next several years, right?
Right.
So this is my concern. And one example is like taxi drivers or workers at the supermarket or workers at department store, and many people are just workers at bank. They don't need anymore. So those people will going to be uh, laid off, and what's going to happen? How we're going to consider for those issues? And nobody's thinking about this.
I think people are thinking about it, but people don't have the answer.
No answer. So this is I need to discuss this kind of issue. What we're going to do?
Right. So far, actually, it's not strange that they don't have the answer, because this is happening already for 30 years, as you can see. And for 30 years, we have been failing to coming up with an answer. So globalization continued, and globalization had effects on the developing world, where income rose, and actually a lot of countries grew out of poverty. But at the same time, income of the American middle class was decreasing, because we had a change in basically how companies responded to globalization. And we saw that money was being allocated from workers towards the people who own the capital, who own the capital that supported production. So, and we haven't come up with a good answer. Basically, we just let the market do its work and say, okay, well, look at it. The economy is growing. The economy is growing in the Western world. The economy is growing in the developing world. So this is all great. We're living in an area of unlimited possibilities. Until finally we started to listen to the voice of the people, as they were starting to vote more and more for populist leaders and say, listen to you assholes, you are what you are celebrating so much, the whole globalization thing. It didn't do anything for me. It actually, you know what? I haven't had any wage increase in over 20 years. And my son has difficulty finding a job, and my company is threatening to outsource my job to some low wage country, like for example Mexico. And what are your politicians doing? You're just celebrating the fact that we're all doing so wonderful. Well, I'm not doing wonderful, and I don't think that you're doing anything to protect me. So I'm actually going to I'm saying, well, I haven't seen anything work in our system. I'm going to vote outside of the system, and I'm going to make sure that we get somebody in power who's protecting my interests, because nobody has been listening to me. Nobody's been taking me seriously, and that's going to happen more and more if we don't come up with the proper
if
answer.
you're thinking about the current American, white blue workers, and our decision is we don't have nothing to protect them because of 40s, 50s. How are we going to give them skill, additional skill?
Not only the like blue collars and lowly trained white collar workers. Like think about, for example, lawyers and accountants and people who make a lot of money at the moment. Their jobs are also at risk.
Exactly, and not only truck drivers.
No.
But what are we going to do for those people? Because, okay, accountant, lawyer is not top level. But those people, they are
being very well paid. The accountants working for the companies like Deloitte and PricewaterhouseCoopers and EY.
Really?
Yeah, they get a very high salary.
But they are losing jobs?
Yeah, they could lose their job. Of course. I mean, AI, the whole idea of auditing.
Yeah. That's right.
Could easily result in them losing their job.
So what kind of skill do we need to give them addition? Or I can't believe AI can cover everything, right?
No, of course not.
So
Of course not. But we will be able to do things more
we
efficiently.
need to give them the additional, opportunity to deliver for them to study. Accountant lawyers, we can doctors, we can give them additional, effort.
Right. They will be much better equipped because of their education, because of their background, because of the fact that
The big problem is like a taxi driver.
Hmm.
The 50s of what kind of skill we want to deliver for them. Programmers, it's impossible.
well, nothing is impossible. That's very unlikely.
They are unlikely. Like I'm trying to do that. This is almost impossible. This is, lots of effort still cannot attain. Spending 1 year, It's not so many people can do that. So what are you going to do for them?
So we need time in order to do that, and maybe it's not fair to say, okay, well these people are going to do this. It also depends a little bit on the market and what kind of new markets will appear, because like AI, the impacts of AI, it's very difficult to foretell what it will be, because this is in technology, but how it will really pan out and what kind of new opportunities will arise from this. I mean, I don't think that many people 5 years ago would have forecasted that today one of the biggest employers are these home delivery people on bicycles that go around town delivering meals from restaurants. That is something that some people came up with, and all of a sudden turned into a market, or people would have forecasted that people would rent out their house to people who want to come on holiday. These markets we can't really think of. So I don't think that we already really can grasp the full potential of these technologies. It will work out in certain ways. But what we do know is that before this will happen, people will lose their job. Taxi drivers will lose their job before these new opportunities will arise. And what we also know is that it will take time for taxi drivers to be re-educated. But taxi drivers at the moment are making money that will be barely enough for them to survive for I don't know how long. How many savings they will have will be very limited.
And the IT revolution will proceed on. We don't have not many new business opportunity, new job opportunity for those people.
Right. And I read, for example, in Tokyo, that the average savings of people, like more than 50% of the people in Tokyo have less than 1 million yen in savings.
Really?
So,
Oh my God.
yeah.
So
a lot of people are very close to the edge.
okay, an obvious issue is new job will not increase except IT area. But IT area is very difficult for senior people.
Right.
And maybe like, for example, outsourcing, call center business will go outside Japan. So we cannot give opportunity for old people, senior people. So
Well, that's not. There, I'm a little bit optimistic, because I think the outsourcing possibilities outside of Japan is really limited, especially when we go in large volume. I could see that this could actually be outsourced to our countryside. Japan has a unique,
you mean language barrier?
yeah, a unique possibility in terms of language. We are trying to outsource to India, but I must say that it doesn't really work very well.
So it means we can hire senior people
Yeah,
for outsourcing business,
yeah, I think so.
for example,
Yeah.
call center.
I think so. I think so. It's very difficult, but we have been really trying, and the rest of the UI organization cut out is working heavily on with developing nations to outsource a lot of their operations. But actually, the reality is that in Japan, if we don't work with Japanese people, what we can outsource is really limited, and we are more and more focusing on possibilities to actually develop these kinds of outsourcing centers within Japan.